What if the greatest enemy on the battlefield wasn't human at all? Welcome back to the world of BERSERK, created by legendary Kentaro Miura, where every victory comes with a cost. Now let's begin this chapter. The scene starts with Guts and Casca, where Guts has given his clothes to Casca to wear, and he himself is bare-bodied. Then Casca begins telling her story. Everything changed that day. The way I used to think, and the way I used to live, everything changed. The life I used to just endure has now turned into a life where I fight to win. I remember the dining table where I used to sit with my family and eat. But now it has turned into a battlefield covered in death, blood, and corpses. From the day I met Griffith, everything changed. Now it feels like it was a bad dream, and that dream is still going on. I had always idealized Griffith. To me, he was no less than a saint or a prophet, and everyone else also believed the same. That Griffith was like an angel sent by God, and because of him, we won every battle. But when you look at him closely, he looks like a small kid, so young that you could call him an innocent boy. And when we find out that he's not from royalty, not from a noble family, not even a soldier, but just a normal person like us, we feel even more connected to him. To me, he feels like a miracle, like an angel sent by God. That is the real truth of Griffith. After some time, I was preparing myself to become a soldier. At that time, the Band of the Hawk was stuck fighting against a feudal lord. That feudal lord was rich and famous, but the most disgusting thing about him wasn't his wealth. It was his twisted desires. He used to kidnap young boys from nearby villages, lock them up in his castle, and abuse them. Those children had nothing but darkness in their eyes. They only knew fear, the kind of fear that shakes you to your core. And there was a time when I could have ended up just like them. Even today, people do worse things, but that memory still sends chills down my spine. Casca says that whenever Griffith placed his hand on her shoulder, she would feel courage, and her fear would disappear. After many battles, we see a scene, a young boy lying dead on the ground with an arrow in his chest. That boy was around 10 years old and had joined the Band of the Hawk just a few months ago to become a soldier. I don't even know his name, and he hadn't done anything special to be noticed. This is what Griffith says. Casca says that many people die in war, and some don't even leave behind a name, they're just forgotten. But Griffith was different. He remembered everyone. He walks up to the boy, picks up a broken soldier toy, and says this must have been precious to him. He says the boy probably admired it and dreamed of becoming a knight. Then he starts thinking, was he happy? Did he die while holding on to his dream? Or did his dream end with his death? Or did my dream kill him? Maybe it was my dream that killed him. Casca says she had never seen Griffith like that before, but after that she saw something else too, something that didn't feel like Griffith at all. One evening after returning from battle, she saw Griffith standing on a castle balcony. When she called his name, she realized Griffith was standing naked, and behind him was that feudal lord, with his hand on Griffith's shoulder. Casca was completely shocked. Back to the present, Guts angrily asks, "Are you serious? Was he really with that feudal lord?" The next morning, Casca continues her story. She sees Griffith in the river washing himself, and he asks her, "Will you join me?" Then he casually says he likes bathing. Casca turns away, but Griffith suddenly shouts, "Am I that dirty? Is my body filthy?" Casca starts crying and says, "No, why would you say that?" Then she asks, "Why were you with that feudal lord?" At first, Griffith says nothing, and Casca apologizes. But then he says, "No, it's not your fault." And then he tells the truth. "You're not wrong. What you thought is correct." Casca, filled with anger and disgust, asks, "Why did you go to someone like that?" Griffith answers, "For money." He explains that to build and maintain an army, you need money, soldiers, horses, equipment, and supplies, and none of it comes for free. If he relied only on war, more of his soldiers would keep dying. So he chose the path with less risk. He says if he can save his soldiers' lives by doing anything, then he's ready to do anything. He scratches his arm until it bleeds and says the burden of all those deaths is on him. Casca tries to stop him, saying soldiers don't die because of him. They choose to fight. But Griffith says even then, if there's something he can do, he will do it. He keeps hurting himself, and his blood starts flowing into the river. He says he will keep winning no matter what, so he can balance out this sin. This is a dream soaked in blood. Casca jumps into the river, grabs him tightly and says, "Stop. Just stop." Griffith says it's nothing, he's fine, but Casca says this is the same person who gave her a reason to live. She says Griffith's dream is real and extraordinary, and the weight of that dream is massive. Guts says it's not that Griffith is strong. He was forced to become strong. In the end, Casca says she wants to stay by his side forever, and if Griffith wants to sacrifice everything for his dream, then she wants to become his sword. With this, the chapter comes to an end. If you want to know what happens next, make sure to subscribe and stay with us on this journey through Berserk. See you in the next chapter.